We are in the time of Godzilla. Hey residents, it's Jacob again, here to talk to you guys about another new Godzilla short film. Along with the blockbuster films and highly anticipated TV series, The King of the Monsters has also just got two brand new short films released, both made under Toho's watchful eyes. This video is going to discuss the animated short Godzilla vs. Megalon. Toho and Gemstone have once again combined forces to bring a Godzilla animated short film to life. Last year it was against Gigan, this year it's against Megalon. We're gonna break down the highlights from Godzilla's big face-off right now. So without further ado, let's get to it. The short starts off with a slow, ominous tone, building to the big reveal of our story's villain, Megalon. Before we get into it here though, let's have a quick recap on the monster for all the new fans. A lot of people don't know that Megalon's first appearance would also be its last. In 1973's Toho movie, Godzilla vs. Megalon, the monster was well over 150 feet or 50 meters tall, and looked like a beetle mixed with one of those crazy drilling machines they used to make tunnels. Megalon's design was inspired by a combination of several insects. His face was that of a Japanese rhinoceros beetle, his body after cicadas, and his movement attributed to grasshoppers. In the lore, this monster was a guardian of a hidden underground kingdom known as Seatopia. Why it's not called Groundtopia, don't ask me. One day they decided to release Megalon against the surface world due to nuclear tests that were being performed around the kingdom's location, devastating their world. Eventually, the monster gangs up with Gigan, last year's star villain, and takes on both Godzilla and Jet Jaguar. Here, Megalon shows that without the help of Gigan that he's not necessarily the best fighter that Godzilla has ever faced. With no clear tactical strategy in combat, Megalon was more of an obstacle than anything for Godzilla and Jet. But when combined with Gigan, they did create a mighty duo. Still, the surface world's guardians eventually defeated Megalon and Gigan and chased them off. That was 50 years ago, so let's see how this new version stacks up. Megalon's introduction into this animation is nothing short of fantastic. The tone and vibes of this scene instantly sets your thoughts in the direction that this is going to be a serious battle coming up. We also got a first glimpse at this interesting new way of storytelling Toho is trying with Gemstone, where they combine live action elements like human characters and vehicles into the CGI world they created for the monsters to duke it out in. Overall, I think this experiment worked well. I didn't think about it much at all really, which in a way is a good thing if it didn't distract me at all. Tell me what you guys think about this live action CGI combo down in the comments. Overall here, Megalon has gotten a huge upgrade in his design and appearance. The old look was great for its time, but seeing Megalon come to life in this new short was a true treat. The monster's scary, menacing, and intimidating. You can't ask for much more here considering the scope of this low-budget short film that's just going on YouTube. Which I gotta say, the entire thing was a proper step in the right direction from last year's animated short, not that that one was bad or anything. The only negatives I could find for this were that there were some audio issues throughout the whole thing, and at times the live-action human elements, although well-intended, did come off a bit goofy. But overall, there's a lot more positives to say about this animation than negatives. I also gotta point out how the music in this really hammered it home here that this is a battle of two big brutes. A nice contrast to last year's more elegant Gigan-themed score. Let's talk about the big battle now with the one and only Godzilla. I'll start off by saying if you're looking for non-stop action like what we got with last year's short, well, you're not gonna get that here. But that's not a bad thing. If anything, the fight feels more personal and tense, like a duel. But still, it's a fairly short fight. But don't let that get you down. The times where the fight does take off easily make up for the lack of time actually devoted to it. Megalon does some amazing attacks, some of which you'll recognize from the past. But Godzilla steals the show here as he should. So let's break down the highlights. Striking first, Megalon fires his geothermal napalm bullets, which look like large red crystals directly at the G-Man, taking the King of the Monsters' eyes off his opponent long enough for Megalon to deliver a mighty impact directly on the top of Godzilla's noggin. As the smoke clears, both combatants rise and stare one another down, each ready to give it all they got. Fight! Godzilla drives in and attempts one of his favorite attacks, the tail whip. But this Megalon is no 1v1 slouch like the original, and jumps to avoid the G-Man's strike. Godzilla then kills hundreds of innocent people, but it's okay. He still manages to miss Megalon completely anyway with his atomic blast. The Roid Beetle from Hell then counters with his own beam-based attack, the appropriately named Beast Killer Light Ray. This attack unleashes on Godzilla and stuns him in place long enough for Megalon to drill Godzilla in the face, sending him flying back. Not wanting to let Godzilla regain his composure, Megalon unleashed the Beast Killer on him yet again. This is the time in a Godzilla movie that we all love. It's time for the G-Man to do what the King of the Monsters does best. Godzilla powers up and leads a well-aimed right hook right into that rhinoceros beetle-looking head of Megalon. But this wasn't any old punch, this one was atomic. He follows it up with another, and then a quick blast to keep Megalon on the back of his feet. Megalon then counters with a napalm bombardment to the face, knocking Godzilla to the ground. The champ quickly recovers here and performs one of his most attacks in decades, using atomic energy cast from his dorsal spines. Godzilla launches himself off the ground, flying through the air, flinging himself what looks like hundreds of meters in seconds and landing a drop kick directly on his opponent. This is the moment in the fight where Megalon knows he fucked up. Godzilla grabs the horn of his foe, shrugs off Megalon's defensive attacks, and delivers the best uppercut of his life. Megalon does the moonwalk and crashes to the ground. Here it's revealed his giant horn has been broken. He's down, but he wasn't defeated. With the help of his Seatopian master, Megalon is revived and comes at Godzilla with everything it has. By combining both his forearms, Megalon created a massive drill, and he slammed it directly in the G-Man's chest, pushing Godzilla back with insane speed. Things looked grim here, but this is the part of the fight where champions are made, and we all know there can only be one. Godzilla then unleashes a powered-up version of his atomic blast and Darth Maul's Megalon, splitting him in two. The battle had been won. What I thought was really cool about this was that Godzilla didn't do the normal Godzilla tactics during the fight. Instead of spamming the atomic blast, he focused on physical strikes. Atomic punches, my favorite being this Mortal Kombat worthy uppercut. And they even threw in some crazy stuff, like this back propulsion flying dropkick. It's got the cheese of all the old Showa movies, but delivered in about as cool of a way as possible. And regarding the outcome of the battle, I'll let you guys discuss the fight and its results down in the comments. All I'm gonna say about it is that I'm happy we got a sick, nasty fatality. And the short does end in a way that allows it to continue next year, so we're all just gonna have to wait and see who Godzilla's gonna fight next. For what it was and is, Godzilla vs. Megalon, this 2023 YouTube animated short version, was everything that I could have asked for it to be. Realistically, we can always hope and dream for a true live-action Megalon reappearance, right? But that more than likely is not gonna happen anytime soon, if at all. And so I'm happy that we get these cool little YouTube animated shorts. And if they keep getting better and better every year, then I see no reason why YouTube should stop having them made. We do have dozens of monsters to go through, by the way. Just throwing that out there. So if this is the first time you've been here on Dangerville, or you're just new to the channel in general, make sure to stomp the subscribe button and hit the bell to stay up to date on all the new stuff coming out. I'll leave the video with a question for you guys. What monster do you want to see in next year's animated short film on G-Day? Alright now guys, I'll talk to you later.